Hi, everybody. This is 950 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. So, as you know, he didn't just vanish, something happened, and that Fort Bliss is in El Paso, Texas, the Siamese sister city of Juarez, Mexico. It's right on the border. This is the front line of the border, right? The front line where all of this human trafficking has taken place, all of this um, concern for children is taking place when it comes to trafficking them, uh, child sex trafficking, even. And why would they want to have that kind of business, right? Um, you know, what you can imagine, but um, is the production of pornography part of it? Is a production of pornography part of it? And has it seeped into um, our military? Has it seeped onto Fort Bliss? It's huge money, unfortunately. And people think that freedom is money. Freedom is not money. Freedom is the Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Freedom is not money. And but people think that will buy them happiness, that will buy them freedom, that will buy them peace. Peace, you know? People really want peace. And what would they do for that false hope? Um, and we know that human trafficking is huge. And we know that people traffic children. And we know that they sexually traffic children. And El Paso is a front line with Juarez, Mexico. And the COVID nonsense, the insanity with the COVID did not help things. It made things worse because it took away many, many, many legitimate jobs, many small businesses, hopes for small businesses, um, interactions with people, legitimate interaction with people. We are human beings. We need to interact with one another. Um, and so it made things much, much worse. And major crimes were committed. And the criminals have been so protected. That is what is so disturbing in this. And I will say this with sure footing, because we have so much we have piles and piles of leads and evidence that prove that the DOD, the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense, the FBI, and many other agencies that are trillion-dollar agencies, they work for us. Yet, um, major crimes are being committed. Um, we uh, absolutely stand on sure footing with that. And has it seeped into into Fort Bliss? And I would say yes, absolutely yes, because why would Richard report? And we have this uh, uh, information that needs to be verified. Of course, it needs to be verified. That's why we are so transparent, because we have been told that they're no longer going to answer our phone calls from our William Timmons representative and Lindsey Graham, our representative, um, our senator. Um, and even though, yeah, uh, and with the Army there, with the Army, we've talked to them so many times, and all they do is, yeah, they do psyops. They do military operations. They're trained in that. They're trained in asymmetric warfare tactics. They're trained in military operations. And so every phone call is like a trap, like a web of of a deadly spider. And so our recourse is um, is of course with few, and it is with you, absolutely. And this is the way we reach out to you through these live streams. And because the public has so much power, um, you can write letters, you can start petitions, you can ask questions, you can also do live streams and everything to get justice for our children, and ask these uh, agencies, why are they protecting the child porn traffickers, the criminals, the those that handle the children, those that seek and get the children. Um, I guess that would be the traffickers, right? And then in the production of the porn, um, and then also the sale of the porn, and also the broadcasting of the porn, and any porn, y'all, any porn, even adult porn, supports child sex trafficking. I hope everyone understands that. So let's talk about the children. Richard, as many of you know, we adopted him when he was 5 years old. I don't know what happened in his life before then with too much certainty. I know a little bit. But I don't know everything. And I do know that when we adopted him, um, he had a beautiful life. A beautiful life. And when he joined the military, he aspired. He was so excited. You know, that's why he was a distinguished honor graduate for his cycle and basic training and AIT. And immediately, guidon bearer, did the combat life saving, and also went to clip out more college credits because I don't know if you know this, but when Richard was 15, he clipped out of 6 college math credits with the CLEP course. And when he was 16, he clipped out of 6 German credits. And so, so he was sitting very pretty at 16 years old with 12 college credits. And so he went to the education center and tried to start studying for another CLEP. He was so excited because his drill sergeant was encouraged him. And with my father there, they had discussed going green to gold. But when he got to his unit, yes, and the bell tolls. When he got to his unit there in El Paso, they were immediately, very soon after, deployed to Qatar. So when he was in Qatar, he said the leadership was really, really bad. It was really bad. And he didn't want to be in the Army at all. He didn't want to be in the Army at all. He didn't want to be an NCO. He didn't want to go green to gold. He wanted to just do his time and get out. So something happened in Qatar, okay? And and then, of course, it continued. He wasn't in the military very long. And he went to the Child Protective Services and put in a complaint, maybe more than one complaint. And we're sure that he put at least one complaint in. And so we have put in a FOIA for that, and they have just, stonewalled us. And now we have put in a request for Richard's legal files at 950 days. Presumed dead. We have enough evidence to for everyone to look. the evidence is overwhelmingly in favor that he's presumed dead. And does that make me happy to say that? It's heartbreaking. Um, and the very first day when we found out, um, I said to Robert, our oldest son, I said, Richard is missing and he's probably in a ditch dead somewhere. And why did I say that? Because Richard would contact us. He would contact us, y'all. He knew we had his six. He knew that in our family there was esprit de corps. There was the Medal of Honor ethos. Unlike the unit that he was in, and I would even say the military. Because, why do I say that? Because it's systemic. The criminality is systemic. And after 951 years, I can absolutely tell you that our military has been hijacked, that it is in service to foreign and domestic enemies, that it is in self-destruction mode to, I guess, in favor of foreign and domestic enemies, and that the 44 four-star generals and admirals are lockstepping to it, y'all. They're lockstepping. And I was admonished a little bit, in a very kind way, about that, and I disagree. I disagree with the admonishment. Silence is consent. Silence from 44 four-star generals, let's say 10 of them are decent, and they are silent. Silence is consent. Silence is cowardice. We do not need cowardice in a very beautiful uniform with 4 stars on it. Okay, we don't need it. We need courage. We need men of honor. And when I say men, I mean human. Okay, I'm not talking about male or female. We need those that will fight, that have proven themselves that they will stand up for the Constitution, that they will defend the Constitution, that they will defend the land and the people. That's what the Constitution is all about, the land and the people. The land, the people, and of course, when I say the land, I'm talking about everything living, everything living. And there's a lot of compassion there, but there is some laws. But what we have now are buildings and buildings and buildings full of regulations and laws that everyone seems to be okay with. All these taxes, these agencies that siphon trillions of dollars, these decisions that siphon $1 trillion from the American people without a vote, and then the vote. The vote. So we won't go into that. And now they were not listening to us about our children. Okay, so parents that were at school board meetings were called domestic terrorists. Those that went to January 6th, including myself, yours truly, were called domestic terrorists by Lindsey Graham. And then William Timmons goes to bat for Ukraine. Fine. He goes to bat for Ukraine, but he doesn't give a flying care about a missing soldier. He doesn't care, y'all. He doesn't care. He needs to be relieved from representing us. He needs to go and represent the Ukrainians. That's where he needs to go. Okay. It has been 950 days fighting for children, and I didn't even know that. But this is what Richard was fighting for. He was fighting for a young mother. He was fighting for children, and he was fighting for their life. their liberty and their freedom. And he was defending the Constitution by doing that because he didn't join the military to participate in child pornography. He didn't join the military to participate in LGBTQ puppy dog cults, coercive cults. He did not join the military to join a warmongering, fear mongering, um, health coercion. Let's give everyone, or to line the pockets of these Cobra Strike makers. That's not why he joined the military. He joined the military to defend the Constitution, to defend the young mother, to defend the children, to defend the land, to defend the future, and that's exactly what he was doing. That's exactly what he was doing. All the evidence shows that that's exactly what he was doing, and he got smoked for it because our institutions are defending the child sex pornography uh, business plan, the child sex pornography industry. I think it's even more so that case than the military industrial complex. I think it's more so that case than even the Cobra Strike makers industry. I really do. This is huge, huge, huge. And um, and being a whistleblower for that, um, well, now I don't know if you can read that, but so then we are told that the FBI found Richard's remains in Juarez, Mexico. Shh, shh. Why is that a secret? I ask that all the time. Why is that a secret? And I don't think it should be a secret. We have everything on that. So the FBI, are they defending child sex pornography and that industry? That means they're defending child sex trafficking. That explains why they support this open border, this mess that we're in. Uh, and the you understand how damaging this is because uh, the technology that we have today. I know of a case in Duval County, right there in Jacksonville, Florida, that in the school the porn was airdropped onto the student's phone. This was a middle school. And the porn was airdropped onto the students' phones. Okay? I also know of a case there in El Paso of a young man that had child porn on his phone. He said it was airdropped onto his phone. He said it was airdropped and nobody believed him. Well, you know what? At this point, I would listen with really open ears to this young man. And I hope that the family is listening because nobody believed him and he got 12 years in prison and ruined his life. And I did see that he pled guilty. I don't know if it was a plea. I hate plea deals. It is such an obstruction of justice. I'm telling you. Do you all know In the Heat of the Night? Do you know that series In the Heat of the Night? In the 4th season, it has some really good episodes. In the Heat of the Night, watch that. It is it's really worth it, and it tells you how plea deals are so evil, and yeah, it is not justice, and that one of the lines is that Lady Justice, and I'm not saying this totally as a quote, but as I remember it, and the line is Lady Justice has her eyes covered because she doesn't want to see these lawyers do all their evil plea deals. And in Austin Hawke's case, that is absolutely not justice in that case. Um, And in my opinion, they had everything. And the reason why I say that is because it was a kick in the teeth, a kick in the gut. The plea deal was a kick in the teeth, a kick in the gut to every service member, to every service member, to every veteran. How a young soldier can be slaughtered in his barracks room with the CQ in on it, okay? During a COVID lockdown, yeah, June 17th, they found him. So, June 17th, yeah. Um, I feel like the criminals are getting so much protection, and Lady Justice is hiding her eyes. She doesn't want to see the 44 four-star generals and admirals um, betray their service members, betray their country, betray the Constitution, betray the land and the people and the children. The children. And I know that you've heard that so much from so many of these politicians throughout the decades. They're always talking about the children. And yet they have abused the children. And yet they have supported child sex trafficking in droves. It's such big business, y'all. It is a big industry. And I might get in trouble for saying that, but that's my opinion, because just the fentanyl, just the suicide, just the amount of mental medication, the want and the will to medicate our children, the want and the will to abort our children, the debt, the absolute debt of this country, 32 to 34 trillion. Keep up with it. And that's not including the unfunded liabilities. That's not caring for the children, y'all. That's not. Okay? Our education system is total shambles. If we had a good education system, and this is something, people have those swirly things in their eyes. They've been hypnotized with dances, sports. Porn is a nothing burger when it comes to the prom and homecoming and all of the. And I'm not saying those are bad things. Don't misunderstand me, but those are hypnotic events that blind so many of us from seeing that where are our skills going. Every one of us, especially our children, have potentiality, and the schools are not they're not be all you can be. Okay, they're not be all you can be. No. And that's why the sex industry is just booming. That's why we have suicides booming. That's why we have the government jobs booming, because people's potentialities are kept from blooming and learning and going and being apprentices and being all that they can be. That's my opinion. So, because I've seen other school systems. You see, Robert and Richard. Robert went to the Polish school system. Hannah and Allison went to the German school system for a while. Also, I know about the Irish school system. I know about the British school system. I know about the different school systems around the world, the South Korean school system and the Japanese school system. And I'm just saying that we spend a lot of money and we have a lot of promises that are just BS from these politicians. They do not care about our children. They do not care about our infrastructure. They do not care about our service members. And they are servicing foreign and domestic enemies along with the 44 four-star generals and admirals. And I was listening to Trump speak, earlier today, and I was like, oh, he doesn't burn bridges like I do. He's so nice. I don't know why they call him so mean. He doesn't burn bridges like I do. I really burn so many bridges because people that are hypnotized don't understand what I'm saying. They think it's a personal attack, and I'm not. I'm not personally attacking. I'm saying, y'all, wake up. We are being scammed. We're being hypnotized. Um, and we are being used and abused, and we are being slowly killed um, by our agencies. If we're not being indebted, we're being drugged. If we're not being drugged, we're being sent to war. If we're not being blown up, legs off, and everything like that, we're being groomed to join some kind of porn cult that we have to wear a doggy mask. And if that's not the case, then we're being racketeered. If that's not the case, then, you know, we are being retaliated severely, seriously, constantly retaliated against. Um, so it's just and this is not just the military. I feel like that's where we're at right now, and so it is just. I'm just calling it out because really my son's case should be a very simple case of let's go and see what he complained out to the Child Protective Services. Why were the IG all over the barracks? Because of Halliday, and what was going on in that unit. Let's investigate. Let's audit the unit. And why didn't they contact the family? And who was involved? Major General Clem Coward has a lot of explaining to do. Why were the barracks full of flush with weapons, and marketplaces for illegal drugs, and having frat parties every day, and bringing in girls during the COVID lockdown when even the visitor center was locked up? What's going on? And now they're making porn. Is that what they were doing? They're making porn. They're producing porn. They're selling porn. They're broadcasting porn. They're airdropping porn. And what's going on? And we have lots of evidence for all of that. It's out in the open, and that means there's child sex trafficking. And so, please God, do not tell me that they're getting these children from active duty families. You know, because they've put the active duty family in such a terrible situation, losing jobs, low pay, no support, constant retaliation, and please, God, do not let any military family fall in such dire straits that they would sell off their children to child porn producers. That would be, that would, oh my gosh, please God, no. Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Absolutely pray that that's not the case. And so we have a real mess on our hands. It's all about our children, and we need to stand up for our children. We need to stand up for missing soldiers. We need to stand up for the whistleblowers like Austin Hawk, like Vanessa Guillen. And I really believe because they put Enrique Roman Martinez in cold case so quickly, no plea deal there, right? And he had his head hatcheted off of his neck, okay? And his hair pulled out and his eyes gouged out, and his head, we know, was thrown into the water only to wash ashore. And the military didn't want to get down to figure that out, because don't tell me that they can't. They're $1 trillion military. We have given them 44 four-star generals and admirals. They only have 1,300,000, if that, service members. They had over 13 million for World War II, much more esprit de corps, and they had only seven four-star billets. Okay? So, we have given them everything. We have made them bloated on top so that they can handle everything. And you know what? Everything is a failure. Every program is a failure. The rape, sexual harassment is a failure. The suicide is a failure. So much so that they were thinking about committing another crime by betraying us again with the Second Amendment to stop soldiers from buying weapons. This is, while supplying them with weapons, but not their own weapons. So the crimes, they're not being held accountable for the lack of esprit de corps, for the lack of discipline, for the lack of be all you can be, for the lack of Army of One, for the lack of the Medal of Honor ethos. They're not being, even though they're so bloated and top heavy with everything, we have given them everything. They have huge staffs and planes and vehicles and drivers and someone to press their uniforms and sew on their uniforms and shine up everything and shine their shoes and clean their house and cook for them. They have everything. And parties and vacations and everything. Discounts. Thank you for your service, respect. We have given them everything. And they can't deliver one successful program, one successful campaign, not one. We have maimed soldiers. We have the loss of our technology. They left behind our equipment, the fraud, waste, and abuse that they have. That they have done under their leadership. I mean, Mealy, fraud, waste, and abuse, Mealy. Fraud, waste, and abuse. And then to support the porn, to let porn be broadcasted everywhere, to let it be airdropped, that is supporting child sex trafficking. You have no love for children. You have no love for our service members. You have no love for our country. And then people are backing them up because they're hypnotized. They're hypnotized. And I was accused of that at the beginning, for being hypnotized as a mother, the love for my children. Well, I'm saying that many are hypnotized for the love of their country, or not even their love of their country, but the love of the military and the love of veterans. And I understand that. My dad's a veteran. My father-in-law is a veteran. My husband is a veteran. Okay? My son is a missing soldier. I have supported veterans my entire life. I never knew a time when I wasn't screaming, "Go Army." I understand. But our Army has been hijacked. Our military has been hijacked. Our service members are being held hostage in the service of foreign and domestic enemies to continue failure until the last man. Man meaning human. Okay? And they are being destroyed. And they need us. They need us to have their six. They need us to call out these leaders. And these leaders, General McConville, James McConville, that very handsome man, he's the worst type of criminal. Okay? I don't care how handsome he is. I don't care how nice he is at a party. He's the worst type of criminal. Christine Warmoth, I call her Doomsday Warmouth because she flipped off a sitting senator, and she's 23 ranks lower than Senator Cruz. How dare she do something like that? That was absolute criminal. She could make things happen. She could answer questions, and yet she's a warmouth. And she's a beautiful woman, but she's the worst type of criminal. And General Stewart, he's only a one-star general, new one-star general. He's so nice guy. So nice guy. But he has been twisted. And how many of our respected leaders are we going to allow to be twisted and turned into the worst type of criminal? These people aren't immune to being twisted and turned into the worst type of criminal, even though they started out to be a nice person. Okay? And the same thing with Sean Bernabe. He sat mostly with his head down with his little SJA in his ear, and he got a 3rd star for that, for total failure. Crimes against humanity. The worst type of criminal. Not as bad as General McConville, but he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. And they groomed him to be like this. And I don't want to give him too much excuses. Too many excuses. But I want to say to the general public that is listening to this, that we need to have their backs. We need to stop this before more of them. I think the analogy is really good in The Lord of the Rings, where the elves are taken and twisted into orcs. The worst type of there's some name for it. My daughter would know it, but the worst type of orcs, you see, to be used for the enemy. So those that were free are then twisted and turned to be used for the enemy. And I think this is what's going on. And that's why I'm calling for everyone out there that understands what I'm saying, that this is for the love of the military. We need a DOD. Right now, we're left defenseless, y'all. We are under attack. Our service members are under attack. You should have seen that one soldier. Go back to my video where I'm going to the house of the paralegal. He looks so scared. He's so angry and he's so scared at the same time because he has no recourse, you see, because they can't go anywhere. Look at Richard. If he told his command, like we recently were kind of made aware of that, and then they didn't do anything. It's like Asia Graham. Hey, I was raped. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Shut up, Halliday. And then he goes, okay, well, I can't shut up about child sex porn being produced, sold, and broadcasted. I can't shut up about that. So I'm going to go to the Child Protective Services and make a complaint. And then the IG all over the barracks because of Halliday. And he's missing now. He's missing, and we've been told that the FBI found his remains in Juarez, Mexico. The FBI hiding the remains of our son that they found in Juarez, Mexico, and they're not telling us, shh, shh. Remember the shh? So it is a huge possibility, and we need to know. This is not a cold case, and we need people to help. So I will take any questions now. I'm a little bit early today. Woohoo! Put this all the way down. Also, I do want to make everyone aware that I have something called, let me look here. It's called Markdown Links. And here, let me put it up. See if you can see it. Okay, so here it is, Markdown Links. And I have put this this up now, and you can just click on any of these links to find Richard Halliday. So I think that is really cool, and we put that together so that it would make it easy for you to share this information for to save our children, to save our service members, to save our military, to get back our Department of Defense, which would bring back everything, y'all, because a king without a military, what is that? What is a king without a military, right? Yeah. You can't do it. You can't have a king without knights, and that's what we are right now. We're not a kingdom without a military, and so I hope that is helpful, and you'll find that link um, at all of these different locations. So thank you so much. Okay, comments. Thank you, Danielle, for coming on. This happened in a school in Lake Havasu. Students were airdropped teachers only fans accounts. Two teachers having sex in their classroom at the school. Wow, it made media. Trump should be looking for Richard. He was president when Richard Halliday vanished from the barracks room. Absolutely. And I want to tell you that we have sent him a certified letter. We know that he has received this letter. And, if he doesn't answer the certified letter, then, we're going to give him a little bit more time as soon as he announced that he was running. And the same thing with Senator Cruz. We have sent him a letter. And we're going to keep on sending letters because this is going to require, well, y'all, this is so political, okay? This is so political. So, we'll, I think our hope, like I've been saying, is in God. And when I say that, I'm saying the Trinity. That's where our freedom is. That's where we get our courage from, the one and the many. You see, I think it's very, very important for people to understand the one and the many. That Richard is important and the many is important. We need to save our service members. We need to save our Department of Defense, which would change everything. Everything. Because none of that COVID stuff could have happened without the DOD. The DOD funded it. The DOD carried it on. I don't know if people know that. And this masking that has gone on and on and on, that is a psychological attack on everybody because it's not for health reasons at all. It's a psychological submission to these foreign enemies and domestic enemies. And those domestic enemies are really, whether we like it or not, and I don't like it. I don't like General Garrett being an enemy, the worst type of criminal. I don't like it. I'd rather him be my friend. But he's not, y'all. And sometimes it is so difficult when people that we love, that we respect, that we serve, that we support, when they betray us in the worst type of way, it's very hard for us to admit it, that we have been betrayed, that treason has happened in the worst sense. That the Bible calls adultery treason of the family. Okay? God takes that very seriously because who's injured in it? The family members. And the future family members are all impacted by treason in the family. And so and don't tell me you don't love your daddy or you don't love your mommy and this thing happened, and it is so hard. It's so hard. So when General McConville, when we discovered that he has committed these major crimes, military operations against us, asymmetric warfare tactics against us, when General Garrett just stood by and just wished us well, just showed interest, didn't want to get involved at all. That is so criminal. That is so criminal. It's such a betrayal. Oh, you're in your room, you're in your living room, some man comes in, starts to rape you, and your daddy just says, oh, well, I'm taking interest in this, and does nothing. That is such betrayal, y'all. So this is what's going on. I'm not saying I hate these people. I'm not saying that I haven't supported these people, that I haven't prayed for these people. these demons are demons. They've gotten an evil spirit twisted and turned inside of them, and and they're hurting. They're hurting our country. They're hurting our children. They're hurting our service members. It's so clear. So yeah. So that's why we need your support. You need to please get involved in this and share. And I really am appreciative to everyone that else is involved. So you can call 941-677-0060. Let's see if there's any current events that I put up that I thought were so interesting. I need to, this whole thing with COVID. I don't totally agree with the narrative going on right now. Okay, and I never have agreed with any of these narratives. I feel like there's more to it. There's absolutely more to it. But at least we're taking a step into the direction of being able to talk about it. The round table is starting to open up, and we are starting to be able to express what we know. And so I think that we'll get to the bottom of it. Okay, so that's I'm very grateful for that, and that will also help our service members, because they have been so, oh my gosh, badly treated with this whole crimes against humanity. So, and I'm in South Carolina, and we've had it very, very good here. Thank God. And other people have had to suffer so long, and in the hospitals, and in their businesses, and at churches and everything. And so I think Trump, when I was listening to him today, he was saying it was like $70 trillion worth of damage that was caused, and that uh, China needs to pay, or 50 trillion. I mean, it was an ungodly number. No one has $50 trillion, something like that, and that they need to pay restitution. Um, they don't want to say restitution, but that's what it is. But I think the Cobra Strikers, they would have a big hunk of money. Anyway, because safe and effective was a lie, and everything else, everything about this was a lie. Everything. Except for the pain and suffering of the people. That's no lie. Okay. So I don't know what that is. That's interesting. Anyway. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And found you. Even if I'm like, thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna. I hope that you go back and you listen to the live, because we have gotten new information in, and it's pretty disturbing. So the whole thing has been disturbing, because why is it, this is my question, why is it that we have to ask, is the FBI hiding the remains of our son that they found in Juarez, Mexico? Shh. Why is that a secret? And also, why does the child sex traffickers and child sex porn producers, sellers, um, distributors, broadcasters, why do they get so much protection? Why do they get so much protection? When when all those representatives are always talking about the children and the children, and not even the environment is of concern, if they're always talking about that, why aren't they doing anything? Because this case is all about child sex trafficking. It's all about the border. It's all about human trafficking. It's all about porn. It's all about a missing soldier. It's not a cold case. So with that, thank you so much. God bless you. Please share. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Thank you, Donna. Thank you. I love you, Donna. Okay.